health? And we have to ask ourselves that question because this is just way far past you being an Israelite and you being a Hebrew. Whoop de doo. What are you doing to demonstrate that? You're supposed to be the example. People are supposed to look at your life and be able to see in these areas how you follow the Creator. You know what I'm saying? So if we have the diagram in the scriptures, we have to implement our life and say, what are we doing to be the example as a community in my health, in my relationships? That's the next thing. Relationships with your spouse, with your children, with your family. How am I being the example of how a woman, according to the Creator, is supposed to be? Because now we don't know the way these women act now. It ain't from the Creator right there. He didn't birth that. How does a man supposed to operate being from the Creator? Are we operating like that? How does a family supposed to operate? And then that would show us how much growth we got to come to. You see what I'm saying? So we got to get what we need to get in our health, get what we need to get in our relationship, get what we need to get in our finances. It's time for people of color to stop this struggling off stupid decisions. Going out there just buying any and everything, like we get taught, getting into all kind of debt and just staying in the project, staying in all these type of places, all these type of things like that. We got to come out of that to become what? The example. Because if you're chosen, it's a reason that you're wearing that badge. Not just to say, hey, I was the original, you guys are not. It's another level of living that we got to get to. Okay, so today we're not gonna be long today at all. We're gonna go back into the covenant teaching next week. So it's important for y'all to get the teaching from last week because it was very essential to understand why we come together. But we're gonna talk about community. When I say community, what do you hear? Togetherness. Support. Communicate. Strength. Leading by example. Have people of color, especially over here in America, do we have community?
Some of us do.
Explain.
As far as coming together for a cause and trying to get, stuff implemented to fix a particular problem or situation.
Okay.
You have one example would be like for those who stay in neighborhood associations, they have a community person that'll come in and get together and talk about what we need to do to fix this in the neighborhood. How can we make it better? And then you have people come together and pay fees, and that's a small example.
Okay. Let me rephrase it then. That's good, but everybody can come together on that. Everybody that live in the neighborhood. This ain't. I'm talking about based off culture. Do we have community based off culture? Why you say no?
I think the closest thing it used to be like back when it was church. So it's so far removed now. Anything goes in the church, you really can't call that the community. I think we get further and further away from it. It used to be true black communities back in the day where the corner stores were owned by other so-called black people. You know what I mean? We're owning that now. We really don't have black neighborhoods and stuff how we used to. And the ones that we do have, they're not producing anything. It's not producing any kind of good fruit. It's not saying that it's a percentage. It may be a percent, like 2%. So we have these black communities spread around to where they're really producing good fruit from out of these neighborhoods. So it's black neighborhoods, but they're not producing any kind of. It's not a community in a sense. Everybody's kind of to themselves. No one's looking out how they used to be. You know how it used to be. You do something, and everybody gonna tell on you. Mama know. Everybody mama know. People don't. They're for themselves. The parents don't care about other people's children. Like the big thing they got into is parents out there with the kids
Right.
fighting. You know?
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
we really don't have communities any longer. Like I said, it used to be like we actually had black communities and we used to have churches and stuff that were pulled together. I mean, that's the closest thing now serving to this. Some of the churches, not all, aren't corrupt, but you know, some of the churches still serve as a place where they can come and get together and plan.
Yeah, but you don't even now have community with the church. Let me tell you why. Because everybody want to have their own identity. So you can have 20 churches on one corner and ain't none of them getting together. Because everybody trying to do their own thing. You'll have some churches, and this one thing I was saying, I was talking to my wife, about that. Really, if the churches would come together, no church would struggle. Why would you be over there struggling on a note when you can have one building for 3 churches or for 2 churches? Put your money together and all y'all use it. Now that'll take this right here, getting this right here together. But other people can do that. The Jewish people can be in one block, believe a little different, and go in one place, one synagogue, and be fine. Arabs can go in one mosque. They ain't got all these different, you don't hear a whole bunch of different denominations in the Arabs. Now you got your jihad that'll chop your neck off, and then you got your other ones, but they all come together for the same cause. So what happened to us to kill the community? Because one thing that used to bring us together is persecution. So the time during the civil rights movement, you had more of us coming together, more of showing the dignity that we're supposed to show. We spoke articulately. I mean, it was, I was listening to how Malcolm X used to speak. And he would cut you, but he would speak it so well that, they couldn't come against him. He wasn't up there, talking hood. You know what I'm saying? Or cussing and fussing. He was very sharp with how he spoke. And what has happened from that community of us coming together, boycotting, shutting things down, to now we walk around pants sagging, calling each other niggas, calling the female whole bees and thoughts. Female talking about, I'm this bee, I'm this hoe, I'm this right here. You know what I'm saying? Ready to fight each other off a look. We can't do nothing right now. What happened?
I think one of multiple things happened. I think integration happened.
Mm-hmm.
The falsehood that we thought that we were moving forward, us feeling the need to feel wanted or like we belong to a culture or to a society. I think that teaching to help on the 18th, but we really see that it's not for us. But in our mind, we're still trying to live out their American dream for us, what they think, or what we think it was supposed to be. And a lot of times when people speak against segregation, when speak that, they think hatred or that you're racist.
Yeah.
But when integration happened, a lot of that stuff went away from us. We didn't have those black neighborhoods. We didn't have the schools, the teachers that really cared for our children. Our kids got bused off to other places. You know what I mean? So a lot of the different things were put in place, like even like with the Black Panthers, they put a lot of stuff in place. The CIA and FBI, they came in and infiltrated and they put drugs into it. But at first, they were doing a lot of good things. They did the free lunches in the community. They started community gardens. A lot of times, I guess us feeling the need to belong happened. I mean, it's a lot of things that happen, but I think it's all still, like you said, go back into slavery, and it was designed to be this way. They wanted this division with us. Our integration with them caused it really hindered us in a sense because we lost a lot. Now the people that we're giving our money to is not us at all. At least before we were somewhat moving towards that. Now the Indians or whoever owns the corner store, they all meet together, but that's what we're giving our money to.
I'm telling you. They don't want to let you in either.
And we going in, so we buying our hair, everything from them. We getting it from these other places, getting our food from them. We don't have any true black communities anymore. So I think it happened with integration, and a lot of us don't see it because we just want to belong. And if you mention us, the segregation part of it is like we're taking a step back to slavery. And people are quick to say, well, that doesn't exist anymore. You want to move on from that. And then a lot of us do want to move on. We don't want to feel like that's hindering us. We don't want to use that as an excuse, and we're not. And we need to realize it's not an excuse. It's just important for us to understand what happened to it. But so my whole, like I said, one of the big things is integration.
Let me ask you this. What if somebody tell you, that ain't of God, that stuff you talking about? And you talking about we can't integrate? You bringing up division. That's dividing us. We supposed to be coming together. Where in the Bible did it say we ain't supposed to integrate?
They don't say don't integrate, say to the Jews first, then everybody else. But if we're not taking care of us, we can't go out to the other things. The thing is that it's no us.
That's the problem. Let me ask you this. What's the Creator when it comes to his people? When he delivered them from Egypt, did he deliver them to integrate or to segregate? To do what? Why y'all saying it so soft? See, y'all scared to say it. Y'all think they got your mind. You don't even want to say that because you think you're wrong.
It's crazy because I was thinking about, the reaction that we have when things go bad. We say no justice, no peace. I know it means justice, but I was thinking no just us, no peace. If it's not just us, you know what I mean? Like to start out with, because like you were saying about slavery, that's where a lot of it started, and I think it's more to it a mental state. We haven't had any emotional help or
healing at all.
Healing, yeah, exactly. So we've been hurt by everybody, including ourselves. So that's why we stay to ourselves sometimes. It's hard to trust.
We're the only group where it's taboo to do stuff together.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I talked to this Indian man that owns the store. He said every Wednesday they all meet up.
Yeah.
You can whoever the guy who owns the store 2 streets down, if he lose his store for whatever kind of regulation thing, that's still that man's store. Somebody else gonna come in, put their name on it, but he still gonna get the proceeds from that store. That's just how good they combine. Everybody else meet up and have these meetings, and they can do these things. They have information, but when we do it, it's like, and I'm, we're in this, we're not, so it is taboo. It is.
It's psychological.
It's psychological.
Psychological.
It's psychological. We're on TV. You see a bunch of black people get it's trouble. Or they're starting this, so it's hard to even get together and be together in a group without worrying about somebody looking at you crazy or think you doing something bad. And I think that just makes.
But that's by design, because it has to be socially. Start studying social engineering, and you can see how you can take a people from where they are to what you desire them to be if you control what they see, what they value, what they believe in. You'll change that person where they can never get back to their original mode because I'm in control of, because what you continuously see and what you continuously hear, you become. So if I can control what you see, what you hear, and what you value, then I can control you behind the scenes. So when you look at where we was during the civil rights movement and to where we are now, you begin to see how, and like I say, you come March 18th, you'll be able to see all this, how we were socially engineered to have the mind that we have now, the thinking that we have now, the vision that we have now. And it all was set up from the time of slavery and carried out until today. Let me ask you this. Let somebody ask you, well, how can you say slavery was so many years ago? Stuff that they implemented back then is y'all fault if it's still happening. What you gonna say to that? That was years ago. Years ago. You shouldn't act like this. I can tell y'all was over there in Africa swinging off trees and ashy and running around with a bone in your neck or in your nose. Cause look at the way y'all act over there.
But
plan is still being implemented as of right now.
There you go.
They separating us. We don't see it, but they are separating us through job-wise, TV-wise. Anywhere you look, we are separated. We got the top man, the black man that says that he is the man. Well, this man, he's the same man as you. You just got more money than you do. So they put you in a position to where you can look down on the next black man. And then in the schools, same thing. Jobs, same thing. You put them in a position that, okay, now we're going to put you up here. Now you got to treat these people like this. And you got the white man over here. I'm not against the white man, but he'll sit back and he'll watch you do it. And when you don't do what you're supposed to, what he think you should, he get on to you. So you looking at like, it's my behind. So I got to go out here and treat them like this. Or they going to get me. So now you got to come down on your brother, man. And then you see him over there catering to the white man. He ain't doing his job. You walk by and you say nothing. And then the black man ain't doing that, then you gonna get on it.
You gonna get on it.
It's the same as back in slavery. You got a house slave and you got the
There you go. There you go.
Same thing.
There you go. Exactly.
Just take the chains off.
So that's why it's important, because you cannot get rid of sin, iniquity, anything if you don't recognize it. No generational curse will leave you if you don't identify it, what it is, so you can overcome it. If I just say generational curses be gone. Yeah, but you have been taught that you can just say that and just get out of here. You can't be in my house no more, you curse. But you don't even know specifically what's going on throughout your generations. And it takes time for you to still yourself and say, wait a minute, I got to sit here. I got to quit letting life go by so fast and begin to meditate. If I see my mother had a child early, her mother had a child early, and that mother before that have a child early, when I'm going to wake up and do something different? Or teach something different to my child right here. This has been going on throughout the generations. Now, I got to recognize that this is continuously happening. If I was looking at my father was a drunkard, his grandfather was a drunkard, well, I'm going to start fooling with liquor. When I know what the end result is going to be. I'm identifying what this is so I can what? Rectify it. Because what? I want my legacy to be different. Then your child can be the first generation of a person that has decided not to allow this to go throughout my generation. So this is what it's going to take for us. We're not getting no help from nobody but the Most High. And we're going to have to come back to this Constitution and start living this out, because this system is not broke. It runs the way it's supposed to run for you. You ain't supposed to prosper. I'm going to say that again. The system that is set up in America was not set up for you to prosper. I'm going to say that one more time. I can show it to you. The system that was set up in America was never set up for you to prosper at all. So what causes you to prosper if you didn't receive prosperity?
Your relationship
Selling out.
with Christ.
Selling out.
Your relationship with
That come back to what? The relationship that he left you in the scriptures. The only way you're going to get true, what like the Bible says, if I meditate on this word day and night, then I will have what? Good success. So I can have success and it be the wrong type of success by selling out. Because my success in the system will be to make my people be animals. So the music industry will give you so much amount of money to make your men, now they being gay. But before then, Straight Outta Compton was the worst thing that happened to the black community. Because before then, the hip-hop industry was more conscious-minded and taking us against the system. But when they came, nigga, shoot that nigga, hurt that nigga, all this type of stuff, blow people's head off, and the Jews that owns the music labels begin to finance that. And then the culture of hip-hop completely changed. From that, now it's moving more to homosexuality. Because it's been controlled by the people that own it. And the only way that you're going to be able to come out of this system, because if I can put you in the projects, right? make it very difficult for you to come out. I'm going to show you all this type of stuff. We're going to see why all this is happening. Make it very difficult for you to show. You can't get no job unless you come to me. I can control how much money you make. I can control where you can stay at, because even if you got the money, I can redline you. You ain't coming over here in this community. So where else you going to go? I'm going to take that from you. Then I'm going to put drugs in your neighborhood. And then the only way the young men will be able to see that they can come out is through selling drugs. Because now I got imagery of rappers now saying that this is the way to be, to embrace the ghetto now. So sell drugs so you can get all type of money. Because now my father in jail, I don't have a male figure to look up to. What now? The culture raises me. Now Young Thug raises me. Lil Wayne raises me. And they teach me how to operate with my brother. They teach me how to operate with my sister. So the only way that I can get out of this is selling out. But I might not know I'm selling out, because this is the only way that I know I can get money. Entertainment industry, basketball, football, and everything. All that is controlled. So this is why it's important to come back to this. Because this is the only way that you will have good success. And this is the only way that you will have true, what they call autonomous living, where the Most High is the one that took Israel out of Egypt and say, be separate. He didn't say, y'all delivered from Egypt, now go integrate with the Egyptians. Why? Because he knew they was already raised in their culture, and for him to bring the only culture that he gave to mankind, he had to take them away from that. Because of the systems that they had running would begin to compete with what he was trying to do. So the only way to begin to bring them into his fullness, he had to separate them from everybody. Because I got to give you a new way of thinking. I got to give you a new way of living. I got to give you a new way of believing. I got to show you miracles. I got to put my DNA in your spirit and show you everything that you was learning before was wrong. So you must be separate. And I'm going to show you how to live in the wilderness first before I take you to the promised land. So today we have to learn how to be separated mentally from the American system, to learn how to do what? First, love the Most High, then love each other. Because we don't know what love is. Have us done had so many problems with love, we don't know what love is. It ain't been hurt by love, it been done wrong, all trying to love somebody because we want the feeling of love. But if you don't know how to love, how can you love your neighbor as yourself if you don't love yourself? And you in a system that teach you to hate everything about you, your hair, your lips, your nose, everything about you. And put another value on what true beauty is, making you think beauty is just physical features, and all your physical features are ugly. But then on the other end, they trying to get everything you got, trying to make their lips full, trying to make their skin darker, trying to make their hips big, but get you to have safe hatred, and you give that down to your children. Unconsciously, you teaching your children to hate themselves because you never knew what the Most High, the beauty that you have in the Creator. So now, if I'm going to create community, which is common unity, the Most High had to take them out of Egypt, put them in the wilderness, and get them to introduce himself to them and teach them how to love each other. Even in the New Testament, what did they have to do? And they began to have persecution. They scattered and went to the wilderness and began to sell their homes, sell their lands all together so they can be one community separate from everybody. You see what I'm saying? Now, just because you separate don't mean you hate somebody. Just because you meeting don't mean you excluding somebody. But people, we got to get ourselves together and understand what is common unity. What does that mean? Community. That means we have common unity. the first place that common unity can start is not in the nation as a whole. It's in the home. I can't go out and straighten up Bel Air Road when 2745 Davis Mill Road messed up. If I can't establish a community in my closest community, I can't set up a community outside of that. And that's what's been happening so much of even in this awakening with Israel. You see us waking up, but we still fussing, we still fighting, we still bickering, we still hating on each other, and all these type of stuff. Those that have been paying attention to these groups and different things that's out here, you go in there, look up Hebrew Israelites now. You're like, I don't identify with nothing like that. I'm just a cousin fussing, hollering, talking crazy. You see what I'm saying? Because we're trying to claim being chosen without living out being chosen. I can care less about a claim. If I can't show you I'm chosen through my lifestyle, I ain't did nothing. So it don't matter. My common unity has to be, I'm going to turn myself into what the Most High said a man's supposed to be. So I'm looking at the scriptures and finding out how a man's supposed to operate, how Israelite was supposed to operate, what was his original intention when he chose Israel and took them out of Egypt and gave them his purpose, which he have in his laws. Now I'm going to go back, because either I'm going to be what he said I'm going to be, or I'm going to be what this world says that I'm going to be. I can't operate in both of them. I can't be some of this American system or some of this world system and some of what God's saying. You see what I'm saying? Because if I begin to live out being chosen now, with one person, it takes one person to start a community. It takes one person making his mind up and saying, this will not happen to anybody else that come out of me. So now, as I choose a wife, then we start our own community together. Because she say, I'm finna conform myself to what the scriptures say a woman's supposed to be, especially an Israelite woman supposed to be. I'm finna walk into it, not this Americanized, can't no man tell me nothing, I ain't studying no man, I don't need no man. Where did you get that from? Was that part of your culture that you developed before you came over here in slave ships? It said the slave masters. Go ahead, Mother. Okay.
Even this short term, I noticed that people come to your house. Bake 3 loaves of bread and then another one bake 2 cakes and then another one fried fish and then slavery for West Indians and others was different from slavery in America. We still have some semblance of the original culture. They took everything from y'all. It wasn't just a physical slavery. It was psychological, mental, physical, emotional. Everything was taken. So there is no reference. So how can you learn how to be if you have no reference? There's no pattern set there. This is why these classes are so important, because this is how we learn what our culture really is, because we don't know. The only thing we know is what they told us.
Exactly.
See? So it's like starting from ABC.
And like she was saying, that's why it's important to come back and realize that our culture was always hidden in something we've been reading. But we've been reading it with different glasses. So we ain't been able to see ourselves and see who it was written to. So that's why it's important to go back and to see, because like it says, the slave masters was baffled and had to come up with a system because they seen the slave woman's dependency on her husband that they couldn't identify with. So they had to set up things called Willie Lynch systems that would continuously, perpetually separate the man from the woman. Her dependency on him to her dependency on the slave master. That we still see going on today. Where my dependency is not on my man no more. So I'm going to create an atmosphere where she can't depend on him. Because his survival is to be submissive to the master to save his life. So I could just been and got married to this man, but this man can't protect me no more. Because we're slaves and property. So the slave master can come on my wedding night and have sex with my wife, and I can't do nothing. If I want to live. So I got to continuously see my wife rape if I want to live. Now, what did that do to her mind psychologically? Say he's not a protector no more. He can't protect me. So the only way I can survive if I show advances to the slave master to give me more freedom. So then I teach that to my daughter instantly, how to allow to become a great relationship with the slave master. Let him have your body in order to get freedoms or to get certain things. But teach your son, you got to be submissive. You got to be docile in order to save your life. So now the dependency can't be upon the man as a protector. Now, how do we relate that to today? Who is the slave master today? Housing, welfare, the system, the government. The only way that you can keep this if you keep a man out of your house, because you can't have a certain income. So you can't depend. I don't have to use wisdom with deciding for a man no more. Because all I need him to do is come in and take care of one need. Master taking care of my other needs. I got everything over here. So now I can just have a man to just come and lay with me and make children, because that's all I need him for, not dependency. Because this man here is taking care of all my needs. Now I come in love with an invisible master, which is the government. And I'm teaching this throughout my generations. But where did that start? It went from an actual change to psychological warfare to make you embrace your demise. You see what I'm saying? So, like Mother was saying, the only reference point that we got is the scriptures. And our being led by the Spirit, where he's leading and guiding us into all truth according to our purposes. So now this become greater than just music playing and I'm shouting and I'm jumping around, because that ain't going to fix my problem if I don't begin to identify what the problem is. Now, identify ain't going to make you hate if you're led by the Spirit, because where your emphasis would be on the only reason we got into this predicament as a nation is because we broke the covenant that he set up. Because he showed our ancestors all this happening 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. Say, if you do this, all this is going to happen. And everything we went through over here in the transatlantic slave trade is in the scriptures. They're prophesied and say, this will happen to you, not this to you, but I visit the iniquity of the fathers upon who? The children, to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. He didn't say he's going to leave you in that position. He promised you an unconditional covenant that he's going to return and get you back together. But he prophesied that all these things would happen. So it's important right now, like the scripture says, when the blessing and the cursing have come to you, that you call these things to mind in the nations that you are, and begin to return to the Most High with all your heart, mind, and soul. And how do we do that? Who showed us the great example of relationship with the Most High? His son. And accepting his son way of life. Because he said, this is my son in who I am well pleased. And if you look at the stuff the Messiah say, he was building community within Israel. He taught you how to love your brother as yourself. He taught you how to do that when you look at the Beatitudes. When he looked at, if your brother slap you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. He talking about your brother now. He ain't talking about your enemy that folk trying to just stab you and kill you. But he talking about retaliation. In the community, don't be so quick to retaliate. Time you feel like you got hit, you finna slap right back. Sit back and think and look at this whole thing first before you give a reaction. Because I want to show the world how my people supposed to operate. That we're not moved by feelings and emotions, but we are led by the Spirit, so we don't retaliate like other nations retaliate. What is that going to do? That's going to bring understanding amongst each other and bring back community as a whole. Because the thing I'm trying to keep is the common unity. You see what I'm saying? So this is why it's important for us to understand and learn community, learn what that is, learn what our culture is in order to, because in our culture, well, it's the only way we can really start loving each other. Because other than that, I ain't got no reason to identify with you. You're just another black person. That's how some of them felt growing up. Hey, them black folk, oh, them Negroes over there. That's all them is. But when I begin to understand our history, understand prophetically what was said and done to us, I began to understand the atrocities that happened. When I began to study the stuff that happened in slavery, boy, I said, oh my God, that's a serious deal. The stuff we all went through. But it made me have a greater love for my brothers. Now, you ain't going to be able to unify with everybody. Some are just too far gone. They can't come in this culture right here, like the scripture say, all of Israel ain't Israel. I understand that. Because some of us are too far gone. And to create the type of unity that we need, we have to be of one mind and of one spirit. We're not going to agree on every detail because we don't know. Like Mother said, we starting from scratch. So in a sense, everybody in a sense is still kind of reaching. You see what I'm saying? But we can't allow a disagreement to have us disassociate completely from each other based off, I think I know I got all truth, and being dogmatic about that. And not realizing you can still miss the Creator that way. So, the way to start the common unity or the unity is to start it in your homes. To start it with your husband, to start it with your wife. If you're single and you have children, to start it with your children. If you're single by yourself, to start it with yourself. I'm about to become, if I'm a single man, I'm about to become what this righteous woman, because of the Creator, is looking for. I ain't worried about going out to get no woman. I'm worried about becoming what the Most High said I need to become. So that means I got to deal with all my hurts and pains growing up. And got to be real with it. I can't brush that stuff off and be like, I'm all right. No, you ain't all right.
Right.
We messed up now as a people. We got a lot of hurts and we got a lot of pains. And ain't until you able to deal with that stuff and to forgive the stuff that didn't happen to you that you can move on. And like I say, even in this nation, people talking about we need to come together as a nation. You can never come together if, especially with the blessing of the Most High, if sin is not dealt with. And how many sins does America has that they never dealt with and think the Most High gonna bless America? If we throw away homosexuality and throw away abortion, America still got enough sins that can reach up to the Father's nose. And if they never deal with the atrocities that they have done to a people, to the Native Indians that was there, and then to the African, to slave, to send millions of them across the sea and sell them all over the world to make this nation great. And then we say this nation started off as a Christian nation. I say how? In what way? Go ahead.
What were they doing before we came over there?
Who?
America.
The Indians.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what was going on that they needed our help and the Indians to make it great? Like, what were they doing?
You mean the people that came over to?
No, the people that were already here.
You said what was they doing? What were they doing?
Yes.
That the people need to come over here and make America great? I'm trying to understand your question.
They needed to come and get Hebrew Israelites to work the land and make America great. Like, well, I know that it's all in scripture, but I just want to know, like, what gave them the idea that they needed to, or they could just come over there and do it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That's amazing.
They knew, didn't they?
Yeah.
They knew.
That's amazing.
Because they had read the Torah.
They understood. You'll be surprised how many nations and oppressors understood who we are and understood our covenant. It's in the records of a lot, even Christopher Columbus, a lot of them that came over here and seen that the natives over here were Hebrew. They even spoke the Hebrew language to them. And when they realized how much gold and precious jewels that was over here, and the systems of how they operate. See, we've been told they were savages running around here crazy. No. Them people had everything in line, had stuff in order, had all these type of things. That was good. And they decided to share or allow them, the people that come in, they were just being hospitable to bringing in so many words. But when they first interaction with the natives that was over here, because there was even some people here that was before those natives that was over here. But I ain't going to get into all that. But when they came over here and seen what was over here, they went back to their king and they told them, sent out an edict, and basically said any land that is not, in their terms, a Christian land, don't have Christians on it, you can just take and say it's yours. And put your flag down and say, this is my land now. So, of course, they had different systems and different ways that they came in and took the land. But the overall thing, the Most High sent them over there. Because what began to happen? When you read from the book of Judges, all the way through our history, when we start going off, Most High always allowed a nation to come in and be their whooping stick. Because of what? The covenant. Because he had already spoken it. So when he speaks, he bound by what he says. So he already know the end from the beginning. So he can't speak something and change it. Only way it can get changed is based off your relationship with sin. Because the provision have already been made. So this is how they was able to come in and do it. And if you look in Deuteronomy 32, the Most High says that I would have allowed Israel to get annihilated, but because of my covenant and because of the enemy thinking that he did this on his own power, I got to come in and rectify all this. So this is why when the Creator sent his son back, he gonna come back ugly. But the people that has been promised the promises of the covenant because of prophecies are going to be able to enjoy all the benefits to a greater level when we go into the land that we're supposed to be in. You understand what I'm saying? All this crime, that's why the scripture say I'm going to wipe away every tear, because it'll be nothing compared to the glory that we're going to walk in. And people recognizing who we are, that the earth going to know who the Israelites are. Now, I know we see another type of end where it just say everybody just going to be all right. Everybody going to be on the same level. And God just going to bless the whole earth. But no, it ain't working like that. Because of prophecy and covenant, God got a certain people that he got to be positioned as the ruling class in his kingdom. There's no kingdom that doesn't have a ruling class. So the ruling class in his kingdom is going to be Israel because of what they've been through on the earth. So they have to experience generations of the blessing. You see what I'm saying? The worst thing you can do is to experience this type of hell on earth and then go into the lake of fire and miss the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important, to understand, and you can go back, look into the history and study how they was able to go over there in Africa and do the things, how they came into America and do the things and different things like that. But the bottom line is no nation would be able to send millions of people all over the world without God allowing it. That had never been done like that before. You see what I'm saying? So this is why it's important to come back to us, because we are the children of the children of the covenant. That's why the Bible talks about the children of the promise. It don't necessarily call us the children of God, but it calls us the children of the promise, because we had to get born of his spirit again before we can become the children of the Creator. You see what I'm saying? That was greater than when he called us son out of Egypt. That's another level that we had to walk into from the firstborn, which is his son, and we had to become born again into his spirit. And that's why he sent the Messiah to Israel. You see what I'm saying? But everybody that are Israelites are children of the promise, but that don't mean they'll get the promise, because it's based off of your alignment with the Creator and the acceptance of the Son.
Right.
So we all gonna be children of the promise, but that doesn't mean you're gonna inherit it.
That makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important, again, for us to have a common unity. And you can start with building your relationship with the Creator and building it with this word, so you become what the original intention of what the Most High showed. A man's supposed to be, a woman's supposed to be, and begin to live this out as families. And being where we need to be in our health, have a common unity about health. Have a common unity about our relationships, our family relationship. Having a common unity about our finances. What do I mean by that? Getting out of debt. Getting ourselves straight, and have a common unity about our specific assignments on earth. Where you ain't just a living. What did God place me here on earth to do? You see what I'm saying? So this why is important if we're going to become the example. And I believe the Most High starting with us right here. It'll become an example of how to love each other. How to have disagreements, but not look at each other in a certain way now because we got a problem. You have become the wicked one to me.
Right.
Based off a talk we never had. Based off because we ain't never come together and just explain what I mean. I might have walked in and had something been on my mind. I had a bad day and I looked like that at you and it wasn't about you. But now you got attitude and went to go tell this sister right here. That sister looked at me all crazy at the gathering today. Now you got an attitude 2 months based off an assumption of a look that was never about you. There's no unity in that. This is why we got to come back to the scriptures. That it says even to love them that despitefully use you. You ain't even been despitefully used and you mad 3 months about this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's important that the Most High want to see the rise of Israel, but he ain't going to come to Israel toe up like this when he done left you everything you need to do to get back. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to end it right there. I hope that was good for us with unity. This is our unity day, creating community. And just think about that on a daily basis. What can I do to better myself for this community? You see what I'm saying? Because what we don't want is we coming together and then we have people in here that stop caring and don't care and start doing everything. Because what you do affects the community. What you say affects the community. You got to love your wife, not just for your sake, but for the community's sake. You got to love your husband, not just for your sake, but for the community's sake. Morris, Tekoa, you got to eat right, not just for your sake, but for the community's sake. So now I'm doing this not just based off me, based off the Creator, based off the scriptures, and based off the community. Now I'm thinking about my daily habits or daily things I do and how my inconsistencies can make the community look bad as a whole. That's another level of thinking. You see what I'm saying? But that's where we at, and it ain't gonna happen in one day. But it's gonna take you being real with yourself and getting yourself together. Go back into your hurts, your pains, because all this inconsistent stuff is gonna happen because you still got stuff in your heart you ain't dealt with. Yes, that stuff and still got stuff in your past that you ain't dealt with. And it's going to come up. Most High going to make sure it come up so it won't kill the community.